From NewEgg, Sue Martin. First, some supporters to thank, and thank you for listening. This episode is supported by CCW Digital, leaders responsible for operations, information technology, contact centers, customer care, service, and support are invited to register for a free CCW Digital membership. Membership includes networking with 100,000 plus qualified industry professionals, quarterly executive research reports, product matchmaking, and more. Go to ccwdigital.com to join the community. This episode is also supported by the CCW Conference and Expo. The event will empower you to test, learn, and try the next big thing in customer experience optimization. Are you interested in mining data across touch points for personalized and predictive data? Are you trying to integrate your systems to get a more complete view of the customer? Are you figuring out what innovations to invest in? Chatbots, virtual assistants, AI, VR, biometrics, to name a few? Go to callcenterweek.com to register. Sue Martin joins us from the Chief Customer Officer Exchange to share that her core customers just love the brand and the brand loves them back. She shares that at a trade show, those core customers will flock to the booth, their influencers and their defenders. Sue has the organization set up to ensure that the customer experience is just as true for every customer. She shares that the customer-centric thinking goes all the way to the very top of the organization. The entire enterprise understands that customer service and customer experience go hand in hand. Service can be there to help a customer solve an issue, but customer experience is the link between every aspect of the organization and each customer. Welcome to CCW Digital on B2B IQ. I'm your host, Seth Adler. Download episodes on ccwdigital.com or through our app in iTunes, within the iTunes podcast app, in Google Play, or wherever you currently get your podcasts. From NewEgg, Sue Martin.
For a NewEgg customer who sees this, is going to be so excited.
Yeah.
Right?
We love our customers.
And they love you, right?
It's like a cult in a way. Our core customers just love us. And when things go wrong, it's almost as though you have betrayed them. But they are the most forgiving, and because we care so much, and all they want to know is, do you care about me?
Right.
And if I can show them I care about them, which I truly do, they'll forgive us anything.
Is it
as long as we don't continue to make the same mistake, of course.
Right. Well, that's with anyone. Don't make the same mistake twice, please. Fool me once, shame on you, right? But do you think that that's based on the nature of the product being consumer electronics and it's kind of a specific person that really likes a specific thing, or is there more of a relationship with the brand? What do you think it is? Where do you think that magic comes from?
I truly think it's the brand. I think we started NewEgg years ago, and we really were working with the do-it-yourself, computer geeks of the world, and built a relationship, and it's all built on, there's no advertising. You won't see us on a billboard. You won't see us on TV. So it's truly that relationship that matters. And because the brand was small, I mean, we had one customer service agent who still works for me, by the way. She's still there. And she's been there now, 17 years, something like that. But for the
global brand, you had one customer service agent.
One customer service agent. We weren't exactly global back then, but we weren't selling globally. We were selling in the U.S.
Got it.
We started actually as ABS computers. So we were building computers, and then we started selling computer components, and then we became NewEgg. And our customers would contact us and wanted to see us and wanted to meet us, and there was nowhere to meet us. But the reason I went
Meaning no stores.
No stores, no way to meet us.
Yeah.
But when we go to, for instance, PAX East, our
trade show.
The trade show. Yeah. It's the big trade show. One of the big trade shows. The customers, they flock to our site. They want to see us. We have what we call hybrid centers in some of our locations, which is where our will call centers are. And we actually will have customers come in and we'll have computer building contests. So like who can do it the fastest? I'm sure there's technical words to it that they use. But they come in, they're so excited. We have YouTube TV, so we have our customers who are coming on and taking a look at TV. Right. And we've actually had customers come on to our TV and, meet with us and talk about and review products. And so it's really a relationship. I mean, truly, in the truest sense of the word. And that's why we take it so seriously, and we really never want to hurt our customers' feelings, because it is emotional experience when it comes to NewEgg. And it's so true that when our customers know us and they know we know them, they will defend us to the end of the earth. But if we hurt them, we have got to get on our knees and let them know that how much we care about them. And so we do try to always give them every way they can possibly get to reach us, so that no matter where they are, we're going to find them, they're going to find us. Chat, phone. Email, phone, SMS, text. We have feedback mechanisms on the site.
Whatever you want.
We have everywhere. Twitter, Instagram, everything.
So that is a customer-centric way of thinking, of course.
Very, very. And it goes all the way to the top. That's probably one of the greatest things that I've been able to enjoy since I've been there, being in customer service my entire life, is having it to the very, very top of the organization, understanding, believing, and caring about customer service, caring about that customer experience, and never thinking of it as different. The customer service and the customer experience have to go hand in hand, and you have to understand one another.
Well, so that gets to, you just did a panel here at the Chief Customer Officer Exchange.
Yeah.
And there was a bit of a conversation around the difference between customer experience and customer service. And what I took away from it was almost, you don't want to be in customer service land, because customer service is when customer experience goes wrong, kind of.
It can. It can be two ways. Customer service can be there to help a customer. It can be there to solve an issue. It can be there to try to retain a customer. And we do all of those things. But the customer experience doesn't start in customer service, and it doesn't end in customer service. Customer service is simply, I always call it the I've got your back. I've got your back for the company. I've got your back for the merchandisers. I've got your back for the web designers. I've got your back for the customer, for everybody. And so we're the link that's going to assist between that experience and between, the whole experience. We're sort of the spoke that makes sure it all happens.
Kind of almost, along your customer experience, if there is a ripple, here comes customer service. Don't worry about it. You're back in the customer experience type of thing, right?
We're going to get in, and we're going to jump in and try to help. And so we are very, very involved with every single department in our company. Anything goes wrong, they'll call us, and it doesn't necessarily have anything to do with the customer.
Right.
It may just have to do with how is a customer going to react to this. So, for instance, if we make a change, that change doesn't happen until we bring it to our department. And I don't make this decision. When Ben had mentioned on our panel,
from
everything
Tailored
is
Brands.
When we were talking about the customer experience, and he said, it's all about Sue. And it's not at all. I mean, it's not at all about me, even a little. When it comes to me, I don't just make this decision, yes, I think the customers will think of it this way. I put it out to my agents. Right. I put it out to the staff. I'll put it out to other departments. Hey, how is this going to affect you?
Yeah.
And we want to look at it from every single angle before we jump and make it. And then we make the leap to whatever it is that we're doing, and then we're listening. We're out there, we're listening, we're asking, we're talking to our customers. What do you think about it? We give our customers a voice that is a little bit different. It's not all digital. It is digital in order to reach us,
sure.
But it's not. We're not using a software program to
manage it.
Which it would be a lot easier, but we're actually doing it quite manually, and to the point where they're not pushing out buttons. They're not doing this. We're reaching out, or they're reaching us, going, NewEgg, how could you do this? And we're calling them. Our web designers, actually, if something comes in, they're reaching out, even if they don't speak English that well. They're reaching out and they're saying, tell me more about this. And they'll bring in customer service to say, what do they mean? Show us examples. And so it's very customer centric throughout our organization.
Throughout, whether it's supply chain, whether it's UX,
Exactly.
whatever it is. You gave a little anecdote before we get into your background, you gave a little anecdote about the difference between a NewEgg customer and kind of everybody else. Everybody else being one of your HR reps who you just kind of tested, right? As far as how the whole thing works.
Exactly.
So take us through that.
Well, so we were doing some customer journey tracking, and we didn't have any customers to bring in because I was doing training, and I didn't want to start with customers that are, out there. Because that would have been a lot of work. I just wanted to get some customers in. So I brought in one of our biggest fans. We have a huge fan base, but one of our biggest fans came to work for us. And he was so excited about NewEgg, still is excited about NewEgg. And we wanted him to take us through the journey of the website just to purchase a TV.
Right.
We had another, and then we thought, well, who are we going to bring in? We don't have a customer we can get who doesn't know us. So I thought, go to HR. Maybe they don't shop on us. So I went in and I go, who's never shopped on NewEgg? And one of our HR reps raised her hand, and I said, you want to try shopping on NewEgg? And she's like, sure. And she came in. We said, we just want you to buy a TV, any TV that you want. Don't really care. And she wasn't exactly in the business. She wasn't looking for herself. So there was a little confusion on her part. But when she got in there, I don't exactly remember how she got there, but she ended up getting on ancillary products for TVs, like remote controls. And we're thinking, how'd you get there?
Right.
And we were watching the whole journey. So our fan base customer who worked for us actually bought the TV within 5 minutes, maybe less. 40 minutes into her adventure through our site to try to buy a TV, everyone in that room, and I had web designers in there, I had marketing people, I had people from logistics, everybody, we were watching with our mouths open. We could not believe how much difficulty she was having. And this was at the time that we were launching Marketplace and all of these different things, and we thought, oh my gosh, not only are we going to a completely different demographic because they're not do-it-yourself computer geeks, they're marketplace people who buy diapers on websites. She can't even buy a TV. Who can't buy a TV, right?
We got work to do.
We had work to do, and we changed things right away for that experience. But what it really taught us was that was not where we thought we were going to have an issue. We just kind of wanted to see how much more difficulty was it.
Right.
But she couldn't even get to the point where she bought it. We finally, after 40 minutes, said, okay, we're really sorry. She don't get a TV today. And, so it taught us how important that customer journey is, because sometimes you don't know who your customer is. Sometimes you think you know, and then suddenly because we're word of mouth, and I tell my sister, hey, do you want to, you want to buy a TV? Oh, I shop on NewEgg all the time. I know they do TVs. They're great in customer service. Right. And my sister gets on and she's like, what are you talking about? I can't figure out how to buy a TV. That customer experience, we wouldn't even understand it if we weren't close enough to the customer, and one of our good customers just put their name to our product. That's important.
Meaning the referral, right?
The referral. When you refer someone to someone else, you're putting your name to that company. And some people care about it more than others, but if you're a raving fan of a company,
which most NewEgg customers are, as we've been discussing.
Absolutely. And if they put their name to it and give it to someone else, and now that person is saying, I don't understand why you've had such a good experience. I had a terrible experience. Now that customer is doing cleanup for us.
What'd you do to my friend?
Why would you do that? How could you do that? What's wrong with you guys? Generally, our customers will come back and say, we need to help you.
Right.
I just tried to do this and my friend couldn't do it. And so they're still going to be our advocate. They're still going to try to help us.
And again, we've got work to do, right?
Exactly. And so our customers, and that's why our customers are so important to us. And that's why they feel like they're a part of NewEgg, and they want to wear our shirts, and they want to say they're a part. When they see us out at these different functions, they flock to us because they want to say, hey, I'm so-and-so. And we need to look at them and go, I know exactly who you are.
Right.
We're so excited to meet you face to face.
Yeah.
And that's not easy to do when you have, 16 million plus customers. So you really have to pay attention.
So obviously paying attention is the whole game, right, in customer
Exactly.
experience. You can argue in business generally.
Yes.
But let's talk about you and, how you learn to pay attention, right? So let's go all the way back. Where are you from?
Well, I started with American Airlines, so I started in the airline industry.
So does that mean you're from Texas originally?
No, I'm actually from Los Angeles. We had a reservations office out here, and when they moved, I left, and it was very hard because I still bleed red, white, and blue. I love American Airlines. Always will, even when they have their issues.
Sure. I'm also an American Airlines person, right?
Are you?
Because, well, sure, yes. I mean, you've got to choose one, and so I've
New York.
chosen American Airlines. What years were you there, if you don't mind me asking?
It was a long time ago.
It was
in
the
over
90s?
20. Yeah, it was in the 90s.
Okay.
Early, the 80s and 90s. Way back when. I go all the way back to when we first started the Super Saver fares and all of that.
That was the weekend fares that I could get away.
Yeah,
and
the
that
overnight.
Was fun,
if you
right?
travel round trip, you save money. And in those days, we had, obviously things were a lot different, but everything I learned, I have to say, everything I've learned today in management, everything I've learned today in customer service, everything I teach, I go back to American Airlines because they really understood what to do.
So we're in an interesting moment as far as customer relationship with airlines.
Very painful.
And American has been left off this list with the exception of making the seats smaller, which I don't know how they're going to do that.
I'm trying to figure that one out.
But in the night, talk about the relationship that the brand had with the customer at American Airlines in the 90s. And I am, by the way, an Advantage member since the 90s.
Are you really?
Yes.
Did you know that I was on here? This is definitely going to age me. But I was on the team to start Advantage.
Look at that.
And we were the first, American Airlines, I still say we, were the very first reward program anywhere. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
American Airlines started it,
and
I was on it. But
so talk about that. I mean, there you go.
Incredible.
There's the first kind of loyalty programs. This is before any of the retailers are doing it. The airlines were first, right?
Right, and American Airlines was first.
So what was the thinking when implementing this?
Well, I was very young then,
sure.
so I wasn't on
you weren't high level.
I was not. I was not on the thinking end. I was on the participating end.
Doing end.
I was on the doing it. The thinking was if we gave them a reward for being loyal, it's exactly the same way it is now, except that people have learned more now. But it was, if I give you a reward, if you add up these points, and then you're going to be able to do something with these points, you'll stay on American.
Right.
Our whole goal was not to have them fly United or any other airline. You know, American Airlines flew everywhere. We could do everything. Stick with us. We'll reward you. And you also become a part of us. When you have that Advantage number, especially if you became an Advantage Gold, it was a big thing.
At the time,
when I left American, I went to another company, and I flew American a lot, and I became a Gold member. And I still have my Gold member card. I'm sure they don't look like that anymore, but I still have it, and I still flash it. It's crazy. I'm not a Gold member now. But it was a status.
Yes.
And I think that's really where the reward program started. I do think that reward programs, because I was part of how to build it and put it together, they've morphed into so many different things, and people don't even trust them as much anymore, which is really interesting.
When you say they've morphed into so many different things, what do you think you mean? Because I'll tell you my opinion, right, as a consumer.
What I mean by that is I think people feel like if they're not a part of the reward program, they're not going to be treated as nice.
That's 100%
which is
true.
A difference than you be a part of my reward program because I value you.
Yeah.
It was like, does that mean you're not going to value me if you're not a part of the reward program?
And I think
people
that has
feel
changed.
Guilty. Right.
I think that has changed. And, when I joined, and it's 1998, so when I say the 90s, I'm kind of cheating a little bit. But January of 98, right?
All right.
But do you see how I know, right? So I know about my nearly 20-year relationship with the brand.
Right.
Which I feel like I have to remind them anytime that I'm speaking to customer service as opposed to the customer experience agent, because that is how it feels now. It's like I need to make sure that I retain this status just so that I will be treated like a human being kind of thing.
Well, and I think that it matters, too, and I can't say this for – I'm not speaking for American at all.
Of course. No. This is many, many years ago.
This is right. Now – if you are not an elite member of a brand, then it's almost like you're a reward member. Big deal. You're just I feel differently.
From the company's perspective or from the consumer's perspective?
From the consumer's.
Okay.
No, I think the companies.
Yeah.
I think companies who have these reward programs truly value their reward members.
Do you think they're in the dark on the middle class, in quotations, of loyalty members?
I think that it's similar to what I talked about earlier.
Yeah.
And it's similar to, let's say, the Net Promoter Scores.
Sure.
So we have our detractors, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then we have our promoters.
Yeah.
But the most important people are in the middle, honestly, because
Right.
your promoters are going to protect you,
Right.
and they'll forgive you.
Right.
Your detractors, they're detractors. It's really difficult to get back a detractor. So mainly you're just trying to manage the pain.
Yeah.
But those middle people, are going to come to you, and they're going to go one way or the other.
Right.
And we build our loyalty through actions based on experiences.
Right.
So when there's your most loyal customers are going to come when you've made sometimes the biggest mistakes, because it's how do you recover?
How do you treat that? How do you react to
Correct.
that?
So what I train my team on is that every time they have an interaction, whether it's an interaction on the website, whether it's an interaction on the phone or in chat or email or in SMS, wherever it is, out in Facebook, there is a decision moment that these people are going to go one way or the other. They're either going to become a promoter or they're going to become a detractor based on that interaction. They may stay in the middle, and that's not great. You want them to make a decision or move them towards, a promoter.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we forget about the middle people, and I think the same thing happens because let's say that I just joined the program with Alaska Airlines.
Okay, there you go. Getting bigger because of Virgin Atlantic and all that.
I don't know. I just thought, I'm going to join them, and they're kind of connected with American. I thought, well, I'm going to get on their program. I'm nobody.
Right.
I have a number.
Persona non grata, I like to say, right?
I have a number. I've got a number.
Yeah.
They sent me all this stuff about how great I am. But if I want to become somebody, I need to do more with them. But wait a minute, if I do more with them, does that mean I'm going to do less with American? And so being a very loyal person, most people in customer service have a loyalty factor.
Indeed. You have the affliction as a person is the problem,
just to
right?
be loyal. And so it gets very complicated.
Yeah.
But we need to think about the fact that Alaska Airlines right now has a great opportunity with me.
Mm-hmm.
If they treat me as well as they treat their elite customers in terms of, I'm not talking about giving me everything that the elite customer gets, but giving me a reason to shop with them, giving me a reason to travel on them, giving me a reason to talk about them, to bring others to them, that is where we need to be spending our time.
Yeah.
We certainly want to take care of our elite customers. We want to take care of our promoters. We want to take care of our highest rewarded customers. And they're going to get that. Through all the rewards, they're going to, no matter when they call us, no matter what they do. But we need to understand who these customers are, because you don't know who they know. You don't know what they're going to do in the future.
Mm-hmm.
So you need to get to know them now.
There you go.
And how do you figure that out?
And communicate as though they are already elite.
Exactly. If you treat them like they're elite, many times they're going to act like they're elite.
There you go. Meaning buy more.
Exactly.
Right? Because that's really what we're talking. All right. So after American Airlines, what are some other stops that are of note, I guess?
Well, I went into several different areas. I went into the wireless, and that was really fun because then I learned about how American Airlines was just so great at management and so great at saving money and so great at so many things. When I went into the wireless community, where it was, it was before voicemail, we were just throwing money at everything. And I thought, wow, it was really hard to come from such an established into a wireless community. But it was great. It was really
this
fun.
later in the 90s when it was literally the Wild West type of thing?
No, it was kind of in the middle of the 90s.
Okay.
And then I went to,
when Sprint was Sprint type of thing?
Right. Yeah. Right. Maybe.
Okay.
And I loved my wireless company. I loved it. I loved working for them. But they were owned by a very progressive company and a very established old Ma Bell company.
Huh.
And so it was very interesting being in the middle and trying to do all of the things that you do, being a publicly held company, being able to take care of these customers, trying to save money, trying to get everybody to the new generation of, we need to take care of it, trying to get everyone on voicemail, all of these different things that we had.
Right.
It was a lot of fun. I had a great time. I learned a lot. Went from there.
But where's the but, I guess? Because
there's no but.
Okay.
The only but is that back in those days, we spent money. It was crazy to me to see the amount of money that went out the window for the little things, because I came from a company that we had to save money on everything. When you're so competitive, I mean, I've come full circle. NewEgg, we're so competitive with Amazon.
Right.
We need to save money on everything that we can do, because we need to put it all into the website. We need to put it into our customers. We need to put it in the product. But we're competing with a company that's huge. So how do you do that? Well, you do it through the customer experience. You do it through always doing the right thing. I think American Airlines was the same way. And I do think that the wireless company I was with also did the right thing. I loved the company.
But they splurged a little bit?
No. Just little things. The little things that you don't think about. An example. Yeah. Even we do it today. When you know your customer, know what matters to them.
Okay.
If you gave me, I talked about it earlier, if somebody had a late package, you might care about that package getting there the next day. I might care more about the fact that I just want another discount for later.
Right.
So you're going to spend $65 to get my package to me overnight when I'm just going to go, oh, okay, thanks.
Yeah.
Or am I going to give you a $25 gift certificate and you're going to go, that doesn't help me at all.
No, I need it yesterday.
I need the package, right? I need to know who you are.
Right.
And I think that's, no matter how big you get, there are ways, technological ways, that we can know who our customers are. We can know their future value. We can know their loyalty factor. We can know all of these things by getting all of the information offline.
Yeah.
And that's what we do. Back in the day, you couldn't do that. There wasn't social media. What happened to United would never have been as big as, it was terrible.
Right.
Never would have been as big had there not been social media and cell phones.
Right.
This could have happened.
There wouldn't have been a television camera.
This could have happened 20 years ago, and we wouldn't know about it.
Because no one had literally a video camera.
Right.
There's
a
their
book
pocket.
that United Broke My Guitar. I don't know if you've ever read that book. But
No.
The guy's guitar was broken, and what happened on social media because his guitar was broken, he wrote a whole book on it.
Right.
And those are the things that we have to pay attention to now, because we're not dealing with you as an individual. We're dealing with you as an entity. You are as big as who you know.
Right.
Right?
Yeah, my brand. That's right, my personal brand.
Your brand, your personal brand. It's so true. You don't realize it, but all of us have a personal brand.
Yeah.
So as I went through my journey, I was still very customer service focused, so I was in the in that industry. I started to begin to build call centers, and I got more on the technology end of things. And I went into retail and worked for an office company, and it really was there. I don't know.
Whatever it is, exactly. One of the three, maybe.
Yeah. Well, it got bought out by one of the three.
Right.
And so when I was there, it was really interesting because it was very old school and privately held.
Right.
So different. The privately held companies and the public companies, just in
terms
of what you have to be careful about, what you need to look at, who you need to answer to.
Privately held feels so much more like a family type thing.
It is, and it has its good and its bad.
Right.
Because the people that are in charge are going to drive what you do.
And we have to do it the way that we've always done it.
Exactly. Or if I want to do it this way, even with advice of others, it really doesn't matter. You're going to do it. And I guess the same is the way with, when you're publicly held, you're going to do what your your shareholders want you to do.
Right.
But when I went to that company, it was interesting. They got bought out, and I ended up getting recruited I went to the cable. Now, this one I won't tell you. But I went into the cable company, and that was in the 90s. And in the 90s, the cable companies, they're much better now at being customer centric, but they really weren't then.
If you say so.
I'm being very kind.
Indeed.
So when I was there, it was interesting. Very, very interesting. And I remember going out learning, because I really like to learn the whole business. So I went out with the installers, and it was just before Christmas, and we went into this very poor town, and I saw this little kid, and I'm like, oh, what did Santa bring you for Christmas? And she said, oh, Santa doesn't come to this neighborhood. And I was sick. I was like, look in your purse. You've got to have something. Is there a Barbie around here somewhere? You know, I just wanted to give this poor child something. And I thought, how can they be buying cable
if that's the
when
case?
They can't buy their kid a Christmas present?
Right.
And I was just outraged. And I came back and I thought, what is wrong? We need to tell people, don't be buying cable. You need to buy your kid a Christmas gift. And my boss told me I wasn't allowed to go out anymore.
Right, yeah.
However,
you need to stay here.
I learned something through that experience.
Yeah.
They couldn't afford to do a lot of things, but they could do cable and they could bring it into the home.
Right.
And I got a little more understanding of it. It was still a little bit difficult because for me, I would drop the cable, right?
Right.
And do the other things. But really, if you don't have the money, maybe you could afford a $45 cable bill, but you couldn't afford gifts for all the kids and the wife and everybody else.
Maybe create the family time around the cable, whatever. Right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, okay, and I know I'm being very kind in that respect, too, to the parents who make those decisions. But it taught me a lot about how little I knew about my customers.
There you go.
And that was my first enlightenment to the customer experience.
Interesting.
Because I was looking at, when I went out there, I wasn't looking at the customer's experience. I was looking at, how do you install this thing and how fast can we do it? And all of that. I was, and the customer, and are the customers getting the support that they need? And are we answering their questions? And blah, 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 blah.
You were looking at nuts and bolts, and it wasn't about that at all.
It wasn't about the nuts and bolts. It was about that customer experience and that customer journey and why the customer chose what they chose. And how dare I judge?
Yeah.
But I should know.
Right.
And it was really kind of a pivotal turning point for me to say, you know what? Every customer is unique. Every customer has their own reasons for doing what they do. And you need to understand that. And interestingly, I left there and went into the outsourcing, and it was a boutique outsourcer.
Okay.
And when I was there, I got to learn not only from a customer's point of view, but all the different customers. So we supported everybody.
Right.
But it was boutique, so it was high end. So we're doing the high end support, but you as a company have a different expectation than you as a company, and you as a company, and you as a customer of that company have a completely different expectation when you talk to this company as you do that company.
And you have to deliver on all of those.
And I need to figure this out
with
a bunch of people that I've hired
to
say, okay, when you're doing this, you're doing that. And
well, how did that not turn into a chaotic mess? How did you manage that, I guess, would be the question.
Well, I think that we learned, and I think a lot of outsourcers learned not to do shared outsourcing, to actually dedicate more to one brand or another.
Okay.
So you don't really find the shared minutes as much any longer. It's more of a dedicated environment so that you can really get to know that customer and that brand. But also, this is where I learned to get to know that customer. So what I did with my agents was I told them build a relationship.
Right.
Find out what's important to them. Ask them questions. Speak little.
Yeah.
Listen a lot.
Yeah.
And once they started to know the customers, it wouldn't matter if you were buying something from a flower shop or you were buying something from a wireless provider.
Yeah.
What is it that you need? And what tools do I have to provide? And that's where I came up with the idea. Well, not that I'm sure I didn't brand this idea, but the toolbox.
What's in your toolbox?
What's in your toolbox? Right. And how much empowerment do you really have? And if you don't have a lot of empowerment within that limited scope, what can you do? And if you can't do anything, find something you can say.
Right.
Find something you can agree on. Find some reason to show them that you care.
Right.
Find something to say yes to. And
relate any way you
just
can.
Relate. And so that's why customer segmentation and all of those things are so important, because if you can meet them where they are and you can relate to them, there's no better feeling as a customer than to say, oh my gosh, they get me.
They understand.
I have no idea why they do.
Yep.
I have no idea why this agent's so great. So a lot of our feedback that we get, it's like, yeah, NewEgg's yeah. But you need to give this agent a raise. And that agent may not have given them anything.
Right.
But that agent met them where they were. That agent understood exactly what that person needed.
And had the tools to do so.
And had the tools. And sometimes those tools are limited.
Right.
You know, there are times when you just cannot say yes. You know, to a tax fee in Australia. I can't take away that tax fee in Australia. But I can spend the time to answer all your questions, to help you understand, to make a buying decision, to maybe decide not to buy this, or maybe I need to send them to Amazon, or maybe I need to send them to Best Buy for something else because we simply don't have it or can't have it. And so many times we talk about Miracle on 34th, what is it?
4th, yeah.
Yeah, Miracle on 34th Street. We talk about that a lot.
Why? How so?
Why?
Yeah, how so, I mean.
How so? Exactly the same way. We don't have that product, but you know what? It depends. We're not personal shoppers, so we're not going to spend all day looking online for everywhere else. But when there's an issue and this person needs it, we have so many situations where this person needs it now. And for whatever reason, we can't get it to them today. Maybe we don't have the product. Maybe it's sold out. Maybe simply I can't ship it to them that fast. They're located somewhere that I can't. But my agents have Google. They can get online, they can start looking, and they can go, you know what, there's a store, you know, there's a little Ace Hardware or there's a Best Buy or there's some store nearby, and I see that they have it. And in fact, I gave them a call, and they've got it, and I put it on hold for you can go pick it up. Huge. All you have to do is watch Miracle on 34th Street to see what happens. But, and especially in the age of social media, you know, we're not here to build Amazon's business, trust me. And we're not here to build Best Buy's business, but we are here to let our customers who we value so much know that we know them and we're here to help them. And if we can't help them on NewEgg, we're going to find a place. And very rarely do we have to send them somewhere else because usually we can solve it.
Right.
But next time, do you think they're going to just go straight to Best Buy?
Absolutely
They're
not.
going to come to us and go, I sure hope you have it this time. We do.
Yeah,
How do
you're
you like
the one that solved it. That's exactly it.
You know what? Yeah.
We could go on, but I'm going to ask you
my favorite subject.
Yeah, there, of course. I'll ask you the 3 final questions. I'll tell you what they are, and then I'll ask you them in order.
Okay.
What has most surprised you at work? What has most surprised you in life? And then on the soundtrack of your life, one track, one song that's got to be on there. But first things first.
Okay, wait. What was that last one? I have to think of a song.
I'll get to it, yeah.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. Along your journey here, we've talked about some of it, right, if not most of it. What has most surprised you at work?
At my company, at NewEgg, one of the things, and I didn't tell you the rest of my journey, but I was a consultant for 8 years where I would go in and help companies get to the next level, which I loved. The thing I loved about it was talking to everyone, figuring out what they're doing, and giving them a plan of action to get to whatever level they wanted to get. The part I didn't love was the 6 months later when they go, I can't take it anymore because the change is too difficult.
Right.
But because I was a consultant, I was able to say, it's okay, you know, and kind of help them through it. And I wasn't attached. But I found so many people, there's so many companies that the customer service and customer experience are so detached. And they just think, fix it. Fix it, fix it, fix it. And please do a better job because our company isn't doing well, so we need to fix customer service. And so when I go in there and I let them know this is what you really need to fix, they're like, okay. And then they say, never mind.
Yeah.
And it's
because they're looking for a Band-Aid, and what they need is surgery.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or they just need enlightenment.
Yeah.
I don't know that they need surgery as much as they need to understand that their future is the people they're selling to. Their future are the people they're serving. And so my biggest surprise when I came to NewEgg was really when I first started. So it was 6 years ago, and I'd never heard of NewEgg. They came to me and I think they wanted my consulting services, but I just kind of hadn't talked to them, and I was busy, and I had another project starting, and they finally, I thought, I need to call them back. They keep calling me. So I did, and I talked to the guy for 45 minutes, and I'm like, you're with what company? I had to have him spell it.
Yeah.
I'd never heard of NewEgg. And I thought, well, I have another project starting next week, but, you know, let me just take a look. And I went on Facebook. Now, this was when Facebook was bigger. Not bigger. Facebook is huge, but it was when our demographic was actually using it. They actually went to somebody had complained about NewEgg, and there were 44 people below it that defended it. And I went, oh, my gosh.
It's heaven.
I just wanted to meet them.
Right.
I wanted to know who they were. So I said, you know what, I'll come in for an interview. And I was actually down in San Diego, and I actually drove up for an interview to meet with the CEO.
Yeah.
And when I met with him, he said, what do you know about NewEgg? Well, of course, as a good, diligent, researcher, I'm spouting stats.
Sure.
I'm doing everything because I'd looked up everything
By
on NewEgg.
this time
and he goes,
know, right, yeah.
Oh, and he goes, I don't want to know what you know. I know what our numbers are.
Right.
What do you know about NewEgg? And I told him exactly why I was there, and I said, I wanted to meet you.
Yeah.
We spent 2 hours talking about NewEgg.
Amazing.
I mean, not about NewEgg, about customer service. And I didn't go to the next project. I went and I wanted to work for a company that got it all the way to the top.
I'm
the
in.
founder, when he sees me, he gets so excited to see me because we get to talk about customer service. To be at a company that believes it all the way to the top and then to help them understand how each point has an action and a reaction, that was surprising to me. So that would be the most surprising thing, that I found a company like this.
Yeah, I love it. That you didn't, that it even existed, right?
And I know it did. Nordstrom's and all of the different
sure.
companies.
Right.
But to find a company I'd never heard of,
right?
And it's not even that. It's just that every single person, it's kind of like the E.F. Hutton. They'd go, I'd say, by the way, I need to explain the customer experience, and everyone would be quiet and listen. And they were all interested, and they all wanted to hear from Sue. And I thought, it's not usual. In customer service, you are battling the big boys.
Right.
And to be in a company where the big boys just can't get enough.
It's awesome.
I'm in Disneyland. I love it.
There you go. What's most surprised you in life?
In life?
Sure.
I think that people just want to know you care. It's the feeling. People don't buy from people. They buy on emotion and feeling. And if you have a good feeling, you're going to repeat it. And I think it was a little surprising to me because everyone thinks, oh, low cost, this and that and other things. But it's not about that. How did I make you feel? And that in my life transcends to everything. Friendship, taking that minute to stop and just say, how did it feel? And actually listening. Yeah. Not, how are you doing today? But just, wow, you want to tell me more? And getting that personal connection. Yeah. It's been a really neat surprise, and I've met a lot of really cool people doing that.
I love it, Sue. I'm a Sue fan now, by the way. Yeah,
I want to know more. Yeah. Not about me, about you.
Well, we'll do it after without the mics, but, like your customers feel about NewEgg, I feel about Sue. How about that? On the soundtrack of your life.
You just made me happy.
There you go. On the soundtrack of your life, one track, one song that's got to be on there.
You've Got a Friend.
Of course. Are you from Toy Story, right?
Yeah, of course. I mean, what else is there?
Sue, that's fantastic.
Thank you.
All right.
It was fun.
Absolutely.
And there you have Sue Martin. I mean, come on. That's somebody that's doing exactly what she should be doing. I mean, this is a person who's on the journey that she should be on. So, very much appreciate Sue's time. Really enjoyed speaking with her. Thank you for your time. And stay tuned.